Anyone past this point who causes pain!
Oh, hey, what's up? What's up? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. This is guy Hanma, 1 versus a million. Testing. Let me know how. Let me know if I can be heard. Thank you guys for coming through. I was trying to get my intros together, but for some reason, Rumble app. Please fix this, Rumble. Um, it's not showing my the pictures, the thumbnail pictures of my videos and stuff. So yeah, which is weird. Kind of very weird. But yeah, so I have some geek news to drop. Shout out to brother for Neverworld. You know, he brings good reviews and news regarding the geek verse. And within the geek verse, I mean as in when it comes to anime and animated movies. So I think a lot of you guys will take a liking to this. So go over there and subscribe to him for Neverworld Unleashed, I believe it is. Yes, for Neverworld Unleashed. But tonight we're going to be showing Michael Jai White's new movie they put out, which is basically a tribute to the old school Trouble Man that we showed over here on Rumble. So and again, this your guy Ray Hanma, the Hanma Force, 1 versus a million. Please hit the like, share, follow, subscribe. And also, bless the pot. You know, if you want, bless the Hanma Force if you want in the pot. Cash App, which should be in the description, along with the link to Rumble. To you guys over there on YouTube, if you want to come over. I'm kind of geek too, so you know, can't wait to see it. So yeah, hopefully, man. Damn, I don't know what's going on. It shows some of my videos, a thumbnail for some of my videos, but not for all of them. Let's see. He's on walking. Oh. You may hear dogs barking or whatever, but that's because I'm walking. Get one of my strolls in while I chop it up with y'all for a little bit. But yeah. Oh, let me see. Let me see if it shows up.
They keep trying when I know there's something to live for. I keep fighting, but I know I'm losing the battle. And it's hard to see the sun. I keep trying when I know there's something to live for. You're not the only one. I keep fighting, but I know I'm losing the battle. I keep trying when I know there's something to live for.
All right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. But yeah, man. So I want to play this video, man. We're gonna be watching it for the first time, uh, just to give some time for people to come through and catch the link, the Rumble link. So if you guys can, share it for me if you can. I appreciate it. And yeah, and for this movie night, if you guys can, please bless the pot. Bless the pot with the Cash App. Because it took your boy a little minute, to get this movie. So yeah, um, it was a little bit of a headache, but I managed to get it. So I managed to get it downloaded. But yeah, so let's check this out together, y'all. Oh, thank you too for coming through. Appreciate it too.
Okay, people, so a lot of great news in the world of Black Clover that you're not going to want to miss out on, especially leading into Jump Festa 2026. Jujutsu Kaisen fans, the author is back with another one, and yeah, people, it's about to get crazy. One Punch Man fans, things have been very chaotic for Season 3's premiere, and you're going to be like, yo, what's happening here? Because even the director had to speak out. And then in the realm of My Hero Academia, the author recently Okay, people, so a lot of great news in the world of Black Clover that you're not going to want to miss out on, especially leading into Jump Festa 2026. Jujutsu Kaisen fans, the author is back with another one, and yeah, people, it's about to get crazy. One Punch Man fans, things have been very chaotic for season 3's premiere, and you're gonna be like, yo, what's happening here? Because even the director had to speak out. And then in the realm of My Hero Academia, the author recently spoke out and said that the manga actually went on longer than he intended for it to. But without further ado, people, let's jump into another exciting episode of Forever News!
If y'all can hear it, man, but I can't hear it. I couldn't hear shit. I could see it though. Hold on.
Okay, people, so a lot of great news in the world of Black Clover that you're not going to want to miss out on, especially leading into Jump Festa 2026. Jujutsu Kaisen fans, the author is back with another one, and yeah, people, it's about to get crazy. One Punch Man fans, things have been very chaotic for season 3's premiere, and you're gonna be like, yo, what's happening here? Because even the director had to speak out. And then in the realm of My Hero Academia, the author recently spoke out and said that the manga actually went on longer than he intended for it to. But without further ado, people, let's jump into another exciting episode of Forever News! The only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related, and we don't bore you. We get into it. Let's do it! And of course, before we continue, if you would hit that subscribe button and that bell, I'd greatly appreciate it. You get notified on the upcoming uploads, and we all win because I'll be able to notify you on what's going on in the world of anime and manga. Black Clover fans, it seems as though the good news keeps on rolling in for the franchise, as we've recently gotten even more good news incoming for Shonen Jump Festa. Because in case you ain't aware, Black Clover was recently announced that the anime would be returning. We got a teaser and ultimately the big announcement that fans have been waiting forever to finally hear that, yo dog, our anime, it's on its way back. And alongside it, of course, we got the tribute art from various different artists giving Black Clover its props that it rightfully so deserves. However, recently we got another major announcement regarding Shonen Jump Festa. In case you don't know what Jump Festa is, think of like where you would get all the announcements of the upcoming video games and things like that, but for Shonen Jump anime, manga, or just Jump anime and manga in general. And right here in front of me, I got the list of everything that is going to be going down for Jump Festa, all of the series that are going to be involved. And while maybe some of your favorites might not be there is definitely some major stuff to talk about here. So without further ado, let's get into it, baby. Because it seems as though this year is going to be a major look for Shonen Jump Festa. Okay, and starting off, we got the Jump Super Stage Red. This is like the big stage where all of the stuff from Weekly Shonen Jump itself are involved. I don't think they have anything outside of like maybe one title that they put in there that isn't in Weekly Shonen Jump. And of course, to start things off, you got One Piece. Now, what One Piece could have there, I gotta imagine it's going to be about the various projects they have, anywhere from the One Piece anime remake to the One Piece spin-off anime that they recently announced. Like, there's a lot of different things going on for One Piece, so they're probably just gonna have a bunch of trailers there. I'm not expecting to hear a movie announcement with a trailer or anything like that. That just seems like it would be overload, considering there's just so much One Piece stuff going on right now. Don't get me wrong, I'd be here for it, but I don't know if I'm expecting a One Piece movie announcement. I think it's gonna be about a lot of the TV projects that they got going on, and probably Oda with a really big message like he always does, and maybe a promise of the series' end date that probably won't happen. Then on the red stage, we got Sakamoto Days. Considering that it was recently announced that it's entering its final arc or its final battles, I gotta imagine that that's probably just gonna be another preview for it, maybe a preview for the upcoming season of the anime, things of that nature, but still a very big look considering Sakamoto Days is one of the flagship titles of the newer generation of Weekly Shonen Jump. Blue Box, I think also people have been saying, I've been hearing murmurings that that is ending soon and it's pretty successful, so probably a trailer for the upcoming season of the anime. Akane Banashi, maybe finally the anime announcement for that one. I don't think it ever got the anime, so probably an anime for that. Bleach. Now with Bleach, I gotta imagine that we're going to be getting a trailer for the final core of the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War anime, maybe some other little tidbits here or there. I'm not expecting the most amount of news. If anything, I'm more so expecting once the Bleach TV anime finishes its run, maybe towards the end, we will get more announcements, whether it be that Kubo is going to announce that he's doing more of the Hell arc or whatever the case may be, but I'm mainly expecting that we're going to get that trailer for the final core of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War. If they announce anything else, don't get me wrong, Bleach fans will be ecstatic, like a Bleach movie coming or something, but we here for that trailer, baby. Then we got Ginyu Gintama. I think there's like that spin-off anime, the gag anime, even though Gintama itself was a gag, but it's nice to see Gintama all these years back up in the magazine and doing things. My Hero Academia. Now, by this particular point, because Jump Festa takes place, I want to say December 20th in that ballpark, towards the end of the year. Ultimately, with My Hero, I'm expecting the following. I'm expecting it's going to be more so like a celebration of My Hero Academia. Maybe, and this is a very big maybe, but I could potentially see them announcing, considering that'll be right around the time that the My Hero anime wraps itself up. By December, the anime will have finished its run, because it's only going to be about like 12 or 13 episodes based on the amount of content left to adapt. It's a possibility we could be getting an announcement of a My Hero movie. Personally, I think that would be the biggest move in the world. Have the anime wrap itself up, and right as the anime finishes, boom, new movie incoming of them after the series ends. Everybody will run to see that. Of course, it would be $1 quadrillion, and maybe Horikoshi is going to, kind of talk a little bit there. It doesn't seem as though that would be technically Vigilantes, although it's possible they could announce like, hey, look, here's the trailer for Vigilante Season 2, but I think this is more so going to be primarily focused in on My Hero Academia, the actual main series. And I guess there's a possibility that Horikoshi could announce his next work that he's kind of been teasing as well at this My Hero event, so that's possible too. Demon Slayer. I will say that Demon Slayer being here, yeah, of course, it was a Shonen Jump title, but considering the manga has ended its run a while back, putting it on the red stage is probably just to promote the future of the franchise. Infinity Castle has already been released in Japan, and it's approaching very quickly to hit the West, so that's probably going to be either a trailer or a teaser for the next Demon Slayer movie, because we'll have 2 movies left after this Infinity Castle movie hits the West, so that's probably where they're going to go with it. Maybe Koyohara Go Toge might have a word or two. That would be nice, but I'm not really expecting that. More so, I think this is going to just be continuing focusing on promoting the Infinity Castle Demon Slayer films. Dr. Stone, I believe there's a little bit left of the manga to be adapted, so probably it'll be promoting a future season of the anime. Now with Jujutsu Kaisen, they just dropped that trailer for season 3. Also, I believe the author of Jujutsu Kaisen has a new manga incoming as well that probably will have finished its run by the time this whole event happens, but that's where I'm guessing they're gonna go with it, just promoting the anime, maybe a new trailer, and ultimately leading into Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. And of course, I think they got like a compilation film that they're putting out in theaters to promote like the last season and stuff, so there's a lot for Jujutsu Kaisen. But then there's a couple of other things at this stage. Oblivion Battery, Spy Family, that'll probably be the next season. Well, I think it'll already have started airing. I don't know if it's going to be 24 or 12, but it'll either have finished its 12 episode run or be heading into 24 episodes. And regardless of what, shout out to Spy Family, love it, wholesome. We got Chainsaw Man in there as well. I'm gonna assume that potentially it could be announcing the end of the Chainsaw Man manga and possibly the next season, considering the film will have already been out in theaters by that particular point. But I'm gonna guess that Chainsaw Man probably doesn't have that much longer left to go. Also, considering that they took a major break in between the first season and then they did a film instead of going to a second season of the anime, they're probably trying to figure things out with Chainsaw Man. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're announcing that, yo, manga's ending by then. Don Da Don, maybe season 3 murmurings or announcements, or maybe even the manga coming to a climax as well. Kaiju number 8, by then maybe an announcement and a teaser for the next season of the anime. I think the current season of the anime, season 2, is still airing, so that will probably be the case considering Kaiju number 8's manga has already wrapped itself up. Also, again, a celebration of like, yo, we did it, we finished. And then there's a few more titles there: New Prince of Tennis, Blue Exorcist, and World Trigger. Shout out to the author of World Trigger. That dude has gone through a lot and is still kicking and going. And Blue Exorcist, shout outs to that, because yeah, it's an interesting series. Okay, then, now no longer making you guys wait, we have the big Black Clover news that it is going to be present at Jump Studios Blue Stage. Now, there comes a little bit of controversy there. Some fans are a little bit peeved by this news, considering the fact that Black Clover is, a major franchise. It literally sells more than pretty much everything in Weekly Shonen Jump now, and Black Clover ain't even in Shonen Jump anymore. It's in Jump Square. And initially, I was gonna give it a pass of like, yo, dog, it's not in Weekly Shonen Jump, so maybe that's why it's not gonna be on the red stage. But there's a few other titles that, like Demon Slayer, for example, regardless of how huge it is no longer running in Weekly Weekly Shonen Jump. But the technicality is the fact that it did run its entirety in Weekly Shonen Jump, and Black Clover is technically in Jump Square, although I think New Prince of Tennis is running, and that's not in Weekly Shonen Jump right now. So I don't know what the case is. I personally think that because Black Clover is such a major IP, they're probably putting it on the blue stage to give a little more light to some of the other franchise that are going to be on the stage as well. And I think most importantly, it's just really awesome to see Black Clover back at Jump Festa. Like, this is a major win for the franchise, considering the fact that it was kind of a little dormant for a while as the manga was running in Jump Square. To see it back on Jump Festa stage and a blue stage, that's a big win. What I'm expecting from there, probably a trailer for the Black Clover anime's return with footage of the anime and what things is gonna look like. Probably more announcements from Yuki Tabata. Maybe an end time for Black Clover, because we've been in the final arc for quite some time now. It was announced before it even left Weekly Shonen Jump when we went into the final arc that, yo dog, is about to wrap up. We're in the finale, so it could very well be that we're gonna get the TV anime trailer, as well as maybe Yuki Tabata saying, yo, it's ending in 10 chapters, or yo, we're about to end it right now. And in general, this is just a big win for Black Clover. You could say whatever you want to say about Black Clover being on the blue stage, but personally, I think Jump is just doing that so that way it could give light to other series, considering Black Clover in a day does crazy amounts of numbers that most of the other series can't do. And I'm referring to the trailer that came out about Black Clover's anime return. So this is going to be a big win regardless. Then also on the blue stage, you got Witch Watch, The Elusive Samurai, Haikyuu. Haikyuu is probably just going to be movies. Elusive Samurai, another season. Witch Watch, maybe another season. I'm not sure how successful that was. Mission Yozaku, the family, maybe another season.
Samurai.
Marshall, no idea what they could do. Didn't the anime already wrap itself up? So not sure why Marshall is going to be on there unless they're going to do a compilation film or a new movie or something. And from the remaining 4 series that are on the blue stage, I'm not sure of Chain Soldier, Jigoku Raku, if I'm not mistaken, that's Hell's Paradise, probably a trailer for the next season of the anime. Rurouni Kenshin, likewise a trailer for the Kyoto arc, and Hell Teacher Nube. Wow, that's interesting. That's like a throwback one, so that will probably be with a new anime trailer for maybe a remake anime. I want to say I've heard something of that. I might be off. And then there's a green stage with various series like Kochikame, that's a classic, Assassination Classroom classic. Undead Unluck being in this green stage is interesting because even though the manga ended, the anime still ideally should be going with David Productions. So I'm curious why they're putting it in the green stage. I feel like it's just another case of, yo, utilize the big name that Undead Unluck has to give light to the green stage. Because then they also have another series on there by the author of Kuroko no Basket, and I think it just got announced it's getting an anime, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, Undead Unluck, if it was up to me personally, at the very least should have been on the blue stage. And then from the remaining series on the green stage, the one that's notable to me is Black Torch. I heard good things about Black Torch, and I've seen some of the art. It looks great. So that's probably one that I might be interested in because I think the anime is approaching as well. But that's really the only other thing from the green stage that has my interest personally. A lot of people have been speculating what has been going on with Black Clover's manga sales. In case you don't know, the manga has been said to have around 19 million sales in total. So a lot of people are like, yo, when are we going to get that 20 million, mark? So at the very least, we could say, yo dog, the series got 20 million sales. The series is successful, and it seems as though this update gives a massive push far beyond just the 20 million mark, because it looks like the Black Clover movie was a lot more successful than people realize. It looks like the biggest win Yuki Tabata has taken over the last several months, maybe years for that matter, is the fact that him going to Jump Giga, while a lot of people criticized the move, unlike his competitors that, some of them stood weekly, some of them tried new series, whatever the case may be, Tabata has just taken a big win with this whole change. Because according to this, it says Black Clover hits massive sales milestone ahead of season 2. Black Clover is getting ready for a huge future in the coming months and years, and the franchise is really hitting higher marks than ever with a massive sales milestone ahead of the anime's comeback. Black Clover is now working its way through the final arc of Yuki Tabata's manga series, and each few months there's a big update continuing through the final battles to save the Clover Kingdom. But that's not the only thing the franchise has in the works. However, as the anime is also getting ready to finally return for the second season of its run, Black Clover has been doing better than ever as a result of this new wave of hype as the manga celebrates celebrates its 10th anniversary. As revealed by the series' official social media, Black Clover has officially crossed over 24 million copies in circulation worldwide as of the release of its newest volume. That's a high mark for any franchise to reach, and that's even more impressive for a series that's nearing its end like this one. Black Clover reaching this milestone comes at a very monumental time for the franchise as a whole. As Black Clover kicked off the official 10th anniversary celebration for the manga, it returned with a new update earlier this summer with Shueisha's Jump Giga magazine that also happened to be the biggest update yet. It has a massive drop of 3 new chapters, and it's clearer than ever that it's all getting closer to its eventual finale with each new step. So first and foremost, shout out to all the fans that support this. Shout outs to the fact that, you know, people continue to believe in Yuki Tabata, and of course, just massive props to showcasing that. Honestly, I don't know if the success that he has obtained and this series has obtained would have necessarily been the same if he would have continued on in Weekly Shonen Jump, because again, with everything that was happening with his life or whatnot, things could have gone in a total different direction. So the fact that he actually made that choice a few years back to go in a different route and ultimately change it up how he works, it still seems like a major win. It still seems like it's doing a great thing. And honestly, another 5 million sales when people said Black Clover was done. People was, you know, just trashing on Black Clover. Look where we're at right now. This is one of the best years for Black Clover yet. The anime returning, 24 million sales, critical acclaim from every author that you could think of from the big 3. This is just win after win for Black Clover, like, and it's only gonna get even more crazier because the anime ain't even back yet. They're working on it. So props to Black Clover, props to Yuki Tabata, and just we here, baby. Okay, people, so in case you didn't know, the author of Jujutsu Kaisen is back with a new manga, and it's going to be a mini-series. And originally, I was going to talk about this, but I said, you know what? Let me wait until we get all the details to find out, is this an original manga? What's going on here? I do got to say that it's a very, very fast return, but at the same time, it's reminiscent if you think back now, because it was announced that it's a mini manga. It's going to be a shorter serialization. It's not meant to last years upon years or whatnot. And it makes me think back to Masashi Kishimoto when Naruto ended, and then it was not that far off after that he came back with a mini series, the 10 chapter spin-off sequel, because it says here the author of Jujutsu Kaisen will be launching his new manga titled Mimojiro September 8th, and it is going to be written by Gege Akutami, but the artist is Yuji Iwasaki, which hilarious, Yuji, main character of Jujutsu Kaisen. And we got even some art for the character, and I don't know, some people are saying it reminds him of Sukuna. I don't know, it just looks like a really dope character design to me. And we got some more details on it that apparently it is actually a sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen, and it takes place years in the future. Well, yeah, it'd be future, I guess, because at the end of the day, from what I've heard, it's apparently going to be with Yuta's grandchildren, Yuta and Maki's grandchildren. Jujutsu Kaisen's, you know, regular Weekly Shonen Jump serialization mainly featured Yuji and a different cast of characters from the, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero manga. It seems as though Gege Akutami always really appreciated that original. Now with this sequel series, it's once again, instead of like it being, you know, Yuji's grandchildren or something like that, it's going back to Yuta and Maki, which is crazy because Maki was another one of my favorite characters. And we even got word from Gege Akutami about this thing, so let's not waste any time. Let's read. Hello, I'm Gege Akutami. It's been a while. During the serialization of Jujutsu Kaisen, here and after Jujutsu, I received several offers to create spin-offs written by other people. However, since manga is a medium where things can easily spiral out of my control, I was afraid that the title might expand in ways I couldn't manage. So at that time, I couldn't accept those offers. But when this particular proposal came along, I thought about how it could expand the main story, delve deeper into its world, or even shift to a completely different era. And I realized that if developed as a parallel storyline, it could open the door to many different projects. That was the spark that gave rise to Mojiro, which originally didn't have a single concrete idea, but after numerous planning meetings, it finally came to life. It will be a short-term serialization, about 6 months if it doesn't get cancelled, compiled into roughly 3 volumes. The artist is the incredibly talented Yuji Iwasaki sensei. He's amazing. His drawings are magnificent. Truly, I'd be happy if you enjoy Mojiro as a new entry point into the world of Jujutsu. And also from what I've heard, apparently like there's aliens in this thing now, so it seems it's going in a completely different direction in terms of like, well, it was always about cursed spirits, now it's going into aliens. So I remember reporting that like there was an author that said that they were, you know, really affected by Jujutsu Kaisen and stuff like that. So yeah, it seems as though Gege Akutami writing and this artist that is going to be doing the art part is going to make something still based in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, but it's kind of loosely based if you think about it. Because yeah, it's Yuta and Maki and their grandkids, but it's set, you know, in the future in a way. And at the same time, it's not even going to be about curses and stuff like that. So I'm here for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover it all or if I'll just wait till it ends and give a final thoughts. But yeah, this actually sounds interesting. And yeah, they're coming back quick, but it's not going to be for a crazy long serialization. 6 months, 3 volumes, that's not bad at all. And they're not the one drawing it, which is the crux. The art part is usually a lot more strenuous on the body. But let me know what you guys think about this. Are you excited for this? Are you going to be reading Mojito, or did Jujutsu Kaisen leave you with a bad taste in your mouth after the ending? Like, how do you feel? My Hero Academia fans, I thought it was really interesting of this article where the original creator of My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi, spoke out on how the manga went on a lot longer than he intended. And I'm not surprised. At the end of the day, usually with major series or popular series or beloved series for that matter, they can tend to go a lot longer than the original vision. I mean, well, look at One Piece. We're still going, and that started in what, 97, the OG story, the manga, like, you know? But this is a lengthy article, so let's just jump in and read and we'll talk after. How My Hero Academia ended up being much longer than Horikoshi intended. It's pretty much impossible for any manga author to accurately predict how long the series will go on for once they start writing. It's no secret that being able to publish a series in Shonen Jump magazine for years on end is an extremely difficult task, especially considering how many series are axed each year for not attracting enough readers. Kohei Horikoshi, the author of My Hero Academia, actually tried to publish 2 stories before Deku arrived on the scene, so there would undoubtedly have been a lot of pressure on him to hit a home run the 3rd time around. I know for sure Barrage, aka Sensei no Boge, that was one, and it was really good. I really liked that one, but yeah, eventually we got Deku and My Hero. In the end, My Hero Academia will run for more than 400 chapters, making it reasonably lengthy when compared to most series in the magazine at the time. Having so many chapters allowed the immensely talented author to shed some light on as many characters as possible throughout the story, but he did also admit that he initially wanted the story to be a lot shorter, and there's a multitude of reasons why it ended up taking so long to finally complete. Apparently, he wanted to reach 30 volumes. However, My Hero Academia eventually managed to reach 42 volumes in total by the time it finally ended. So clearly it stretched on for quite a bit longer than Horikoshi maybe would have wanted. Yeah, if he planned for 30, 42, like you think, oh, that's only 12 more books, but that's literally what, 3-4 more years of work than he intended? That's certainly not a bad thing for the audience though, who were able to follow the cast of heroes and villains for as much time as possible before the story finally concluded. But there are a few key reasons why this beloved series ended up being as long as it is. The series' staggering popularity definitely contributed to its length. Horikoshi wanted to give a specific character enough screen time to grow and mature. The most obvious reason why My Hero Academia continued running for as long as it did is simply because of its popularity. By the time the manga had reached the forest training camp, the anime had already started airing, introducing an overwhelming number of new fans to the series as a result. With so many people reading this series week to week, Horikoshi probably felt obligated to give the fans what they wanted, encouraging him to flesh out the story and characters even more than intended, to create a series that people could enjoy for many years to come. However, there is a deeper reason within the story itself as to why Horikoshi was drawing for so long, and it's because of the focus he gave his characters. While many of the early story arcs centered around Deku, considering he's the main protagonist, at roughly the midpoint of My Hero, Horikoshi began dedicating entire story arcs to individual side characters who he felt were also important to the overall plot. The 2 biggest examples of this are Endeavor and the League of Villains, who all get a massive amount of screen time so that the fans can get to know them on a more personal level. There's also the fact that Horikoshi clearly wanted to give as many characters as possible a send-off that felt appropriate. Throughout the final war, there's a plethora of characters, even those who are viewed as pretty insignificant, who have a lot of episodes and chapters dedicated to them, receiving a conclusion that makes sense to their personal story. There's no doubt this would have stretched out the final conflict even more than was originally planned, but that's certainly not a bad thing, considering how well done many of these character moments turned out to be. The burning question therefore becomes, what would the My Hero Academia story have looked like if it had only reached up to 30 volumes, and more importantly, would this have benefited the series overall? While this is obviously up for debate, the one criticism that is frequently thrown at My Hero is the pacing of the story. There are admittedly a few sections and story arcs which don't really do all that much to push the plot forward, and while there are definitely still plenty of exciting moments contained within each one, leaving them on the cutting room floor would have probably been a better idea in hindsight. The main culprit of this is the joint training arc where Class 1A are forced to duke it out with Class 1B as part of a trial exercise. 1,000,000,000% I'll be honest with you. Wow. Yeah, the anime made it a little bit more fun. The biggest thing that came from that, if I remember correctly, was like Deku learning a new ability. And while that's a big deal, at the same time, it's like, that could have been done in a couple chapters and something a lot more significant. Many fans argue that this arc was simply a way for Horikoshi to remind fans that Class 1B are still relevant to the story, but at over 20 chapters long, it definitely feels like a bit of an abrupt pause that doesn't seem all that necessary. In contrast though, the length of My Hero does also benefit the series in a few unique ways. Not only does it give the gigantic cast of characters the chance to show what they're all made of on an individual basis, but it also allowed Horikoshi to get pretty experimental with world building, allowing him to introduce a few new factions such as the devious Paranormal Liberation Army. Therefore, the story could probably have been a lot more focused if it were a tad shorter, but it ultimately still benefits in many respects and being as long as it would eventually become. And I'll be honest with you, there's like quite a few different points in My Hero Academia that you could probably be like, yo dog, why are we focusing in on this character for so long? Yo dog, why are we doing this? If it would have stuck to probably Horikoshi's original vision, if it was just Deku's story, 30 volumes was definitely doable. Like he could have easily made it. If you would take some elements from the second war, which anime only fans, don't worry, I'm not gonna get specific to spoil anything, but if you combine it into the first war, you would probably have one of the greatest war arcs in all of anime. If you combine some of the closing threads that were needed to just kind of wrap things up for certain characters, it would have been just on like One Piece Marineford levels of writing, and it could have closed out the story. So yeah, there was a lot of times where My Hero felt like it went on longer than it should, but ultimately I still love the series. It's still fantastic, and Deku really inspired a generation of people to kind of continue to hope and believe in their dreams. So salute to Horikoshi, My Hero. Yeah, it went on longer than it probably would have if it was different, but it still did exactly what it needed to do. Okay, so yo, I gotta ask before we even get started, as a One Punch Man fan, are you or are you not hype for this upcoming season? Are you upset? Are you angry? Or are you looking forward to it? Let me know right now before we even get started, because we gotta address the elephant in the room of what's going on right now with the One Punch Man fandom, the One Punch Man series as a whole, because it is right now looking real nasty out in these streets as far as the way people are treating One Punch Man as the new season approaches here in the fall season of anime. Oh, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get more of my videos in your inbox. Because in case you don't know, One Punch Man is a very highly revered series for the particular reason of the first season being just a masterpiece of beauty. It at the time felt like it was revolutionary because it was a seasonal anime, but it was based off of a shonen battle series, and it was different from the mold of the norm of like, hey, you know, a kid with a dream. It was about this guy that he's kind of just a hero for fun and ultimately has a lot of laughs and gags in between, but it can get serious. The art style changes whenever homie gets serious. Like, there's a lot that came in with One Punch Man season 1 that had a lot of people sold to it, like, yo dog, this is it, this is that new thing. It was at a time where anime was really changing. We was kind of emerging slowly but surely from the previous gen of the big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, just dominating everything. At that time we had Tokyo Ghoul, we had Attack on Titan, and we had One Punch Man just coming in swinging with absolute greatness and epicness. Then following that season, it was quite a few years until we got the next season. I want to say it was about 4 years, give or take, that season 2 of One Punch Man came in, and they had switched studios at that particular point. It wasn't the same people behind the anime. Make no mistake about it, the original content was done by the same people, the author one as well as Yusuke Murata that did the art for the revamped version of the manga. But ultimately the staff changed. It went from Studio Madhouse to JC staff, and people were just not happy. Like, there was a subsection of the fandom like myself that was really just happy and excited that, yo dog, One Punch Man is back and it's animated. And honestly, it was just really cool to see some of the really awesome stuff that that season had, including stuff like, yo, we waited how long to see Garo in the anime. I made so many videos even leading up to that talking about like, yo dog, I cannot wait for Garo to finally show up. And that's that I am a massive supporter and always on the side of the heroes, but there was just something about the way that character was written in particular that had my interest. But nevertheless, a lot of people felt like JC staff didn't live up to the expectations that the first season had, because people really just highly revered, highly loved, and adored One Punch Man from that first season. People kind of had a little bit of murmurings of people not really rocking with One Punch Man at that particular time. Since then, One Punch Man has mainly relied on the manga. The artist and author have continued to release chapters. There's been like a gajillion chapters of the manga that has been released since then, with the Monster Hunter Association arc and a lot of different aspects which have been phenomenal. Like, if you had a one-to-one adaptation of the manga to anime, One Punch Man, there would be like zero room for anybody to say anything other than, oh my god, this is absolutely incredible, because the manga is fire. Like, again, I said, there's a lot of comedy, but like genuine comedy that actually makes you like legit laugh because of Saitama's just like not really caring too much. At the same time, when it calls for it to care, Saitama will come and, you know, give that one punch, that glorious punch, so to speak. And then you have all the other insanity and epicness of like the way that it's written. You have a wide variety of characters and a cast that majority of them are interesting, like whether it be some of the side heroes or it be some of the main heroes like Tornado and them. Like, they're just really awesome and epic characters and very well written. Genos, like Bang, like there's so many epic characters that even when it's not necessarily primarily focusing in on the main character himself, Saitama, there are so many really interesting characters that this series, as I've said a trillion times already, could have very well been a weekly animated series, because there's just so much to it that even the chapters that aren't really focusing in on the main topic at hand, it's still fire. But after a while, they finally did announce that there was going to be a season 3 for One Punch Man, which there could probably be, I don't even know, 4, 5, 6 seasons at this point with all of the content of the manga. But they did announce season 3, and it was kind of quiet for a long time after that announcement, and people were like, okay, they must be working hard. At first, people didn't even know if it was going to be JC Staff that was still doing the anime. A lot of people were kind of hoping and thought it would have been Studio Mappa, but while Studio Mappa is incredible, I do think that occasionally they over animate and overdo things, where a series like One Punch Man benefits from the fact that, like for example with Saitama, his simplistic design usually is amplified when he finally looks really detailed and serious, because that's like in universe. So you never really necessarily needed the craziest art for One Punch Man, like you just didn't. Don't get me wrong, that's not to say that One Punch Man season 1 and 2 didn't really deliver with art. I'm just saying that it's literally like an in-universe joke, so to speak, of like the art style changes. But eventually it was revealed that JC Staff is on board, and we got a little bit of promo stuff, and then eventually, I want to say a few months back from this recording right now, we got the first trailer for One Punch Man season 3, and a lot of people were kind of mixed, more so leaning towards what's going on here, because the trailer, it kind of had a lot of characters that really weren't in motion necessarily. The characters were just kind of talking, and it was a very simple trailer for what people were hoping would be this gloriously, epically animated trailer. Oh my gosh, people were hoping for Studio Madhouse season 1 levels, and that wasn't that. And then even as of recent as a day or two ago, we got another trailer updated with like 15 seconds of new footage, and people still aren't really the most happiest. But now, with all that being said, I definitely want to say that there's a lot to be said here regarding the fandom's reaction to One Punch Man, especially as it stands right now, because first of all, the anime's new season ain't even out yet. Like, we are all, or most of y'all are judging and jumping the gun, so to speak, before things are even out. I get it that it right now is not necessarily the most ideal situation. The trailers that are out aren't really showing the most grandiose amount of information. Also, the trailers that are out right now is like, bro, the anime debuts in like a month or something. Why aren't we getting more? So definitely a lot of understandable reasons why some people would be at the very least confused or skeptical, but people are actually legitimately angry and just really saying a lot of things that is just like, what are we doing here, fam? Like, let's take a step back for a second and always remember the fact that we come to these things to enjoy and be entertained. And sure, aesthetics are cool, like, yo, pretty picture, pretty art and animation, that's great and all that stuff, but One Punch Man is solid enough of a story that, like I said, even with season 2, I had a good time. I wasn't really too concerned and worried about, oh my gosh, the fluidity of the animation just isn't what, like, that really wasn't my vibe when I was watching. I was more so like, yo, the Hero Hunter, oh snap, the Monster Hunter Association. That was my reaction when I was watching season 2 for the most part. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm here for just straight up art and animation. Honestly, that just feels surface level to me. Like, if that's all you're in for when it comes to watching anime, I mean, kudos to you. I guess you know what you want, but there's more to enjoyment, and there's more to a series, there's more to a story than just, hey, that looks beautiful. I want substance. I want something that really will leave me walking away having a good time, a good impression, or a lesson or something, and One Punch Man always delivers that. Again, whether it even be that I walk away having a good laugh from the jokes, from the humor that the series encompasses, purposes, that's always what One Punch Man has provided to begin with. And by no means am I trying to hear cape for One Punch Man and try and save the day, so to speak, because regardless of what I say, a lot of people are still going to carry on with their narratives. But personally, I'm still really excited for One Punch Man Season 3. I'm still really going to watch every episode of One Punch Man Season 3. And I do think it's also very unfair that people are going so hardcore that the director even had to speak out about certain aspects, in particular just even introduce himself, because people were going so hardcore about a couple of the changes as well. He was like, yo dog, let me just say something there. And here's what he said. Shin Nagai _anime. Hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Shinpei Nagai, the director of One Punch Man Season 3. I completely understand everyone's reactions. Please calm down and hear me out if you would. I'll explain why I was chosen, and it might be a bit long, but please listen. I've been a freelancer from the beginning, and that hasn't changed. At 37, wrapped up my apprenticeship and stepped into the anime world with a work called Hiro no Kakera. I learned how to create a hybrid animation with 3D in a project called Aquarian Logos, and after that I switched to a 3D company for just 1 year, contributing to image boards for Altered Carbon and such. My goal was always Manglobe. I owned my skills on episode 6 of Gangsta. Yo, Gangsta was pretty dope, I ain't gonna lie. I wish it would have continued. And Samurai Flamenco. I've heard good things about that one, among others. I was aiming for a hybrid of 3D CG and hand-drawn animation, but as everyone knows, Manglobe ended up closing down. In the midst of that, JC Staff became a long-term partner, commissioning me for storyboards and direction throughout the year. However, since I'm relatively unknown and don't have standout achievements as an animator, I thought it might give a bad impression, so I asked to keep it under wraps. Then, when the consultation for One Punch Man Season 3 came up, I focused on incorporating a new workflow, something I discussed in CG World, bridging 3D and 2D workflows to squeeze out even one more second of production time. I sincerely apologize for keeping quiet about this. The team is giving it our all on site. I can't discuss details about the production, but I'm open to answering what I can within limits. Because again, people are complaining about some of the stylistic choices, some of the choices in general, whether it be incorporating CG into the anime. So homie had to even come out and speak a little of his own piece as well, just to kind of say like, yo dog, we're giving it our all. This is my experience. Like, this is what we're trying. And I gotta add in there the fact that, yo, you know what also could be an alternative to this? No One Punch Man anime, and there you go. Just continue on with your manga, dog. Or there's always the other option of, hey, you don't rock with it, cool, why don't you just go on and find something that you do enjoy? But a lot of people actually do secretly enjoy this and just do it for the internet. That's a whole different story. We're not even gonna dive into that. And then another announcement came out that had more fans even going crazy and saying, oh my gosh, because apparently the first episode of One Punch Man Season 3 is going to be more so a recap of Season 2, which makes a lot of sense. It's been, what, 6 years since the last season of One Punch Man? Something in that ballpark. It's been a while. So yeah, recapping what happened would make the most sense. So that means that the first episode of One Punch Man technically won't air for 1 week after the premiere of One Punch Man, because yeah, One Punch Man Season 3 Ep 1 will be a compilation of Season 2, so Season 3 official broadcast from October 12th on. And honestly, I feel like because also One Punch Man is technically a hero show, right? It's a superhero series. A lot of people are being unfair, and also I throw in a little argument of being hypocrites, because a lot of these same fans of this stuff, they'll go and watch something like, for example, Invincible. And as much as I rock with Invincible and it is an impressive show, one of the things about Invincible that is well known and most people say is the fact that the animation outside of the big action pieces isn't really that great either. So why is it a pass for Invincible to kind of have, you know, quote unquote shaky animation, but when it comes to One Punch Man, it's like, oh no, it has to be all 10 out of 10 or nothing. I get it that One Punch Man raised the bar extremely high for what you should do with an anime. I get that One Punch Man set the precedent, for that matter, for superhero series to come, because it was around that time as well that My Hero Academia debuted, and My Hero Academia kind of went on for a while, and I do feel like One Punch Man helped to catapult and allow for superhero anime to really exist in the mainstream, because prior to that, what did we have, like Tiger and Bunny? Like, there really wasn't any type of superhero stuff in mainstream anime. So One Punch Man's kind of Season 1 success set the bar so high that even with itself trying to compete with itself, it's still an enormous task and battle. And with so much content of One Punch Man remaining to be adapted, it's not like this season is going to wrap up all of the battles either. I want to argue that probably a fourth or even fifth season is going to be needed in order to finish everything up with Saitama and Garo and all of that stuff. Like, there's still a long ways to go, and if people are giving, you know, a headache, so to speak, to JC staff with this season, they probably won't even do any more. And, you know, people can say, yeah, you won, but in reality, a lot of these people are going to enjoy it. And for the people that are excited about this, you're kind of being a damper on their parade and their excitement, because it's like, dog, let people enjoy what they enjoy. You ain't rocking with it. You saw the trailer, it's not for you. But yeah, I just had to speak my piece on this because I've just been seeing so much negativity about this whole thing, and it's like, bro, I'm still gonna watch mine. I'm still gonna enjoy every episode. I'm still gonna support this thing, and I can't wait to see Garo, Saitama, Genos, all of the heroes in general, Tornado, Blizzard, everybody on screen. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good time, and I hope you do the same. I'm Tim. As always, people, have an awesome day. I spit fire, show no smoke like Snoop without a lighter. Then I go show love to the rider. No one even knows, and that's how I like it. If they don't see the food, then they can't bite it. Show me the ingredients, only way I try it. Marketing well doesn't mean that I buy it. I'ma be a favorite, don't try to fight it. Already written, can't rewrite it. Such as
Yeah, man. So it's our boy from Neverworld. So yeah, oh man, right on for the news. So yeah, y'all, I'm about to get geared up, man, and get this movie night started. But yeah, man, I can't wait, dude. Like, those some exciting titles, and I'm with them on that too, man. And the criticism of these people, sometimes people, you know, give you their criticism as if they want you to follow and to be bound by their own shitty ass criticisms of of a show. So yeah, and I'm with them on that. Like, you know, motherfuckers was okay with the animation of uh My Hero, then you motherfuckers should be okay with the animation, you know, what they display in One Punch Man. But I'm glad to see some new shit coming out with them. Chainsaw Man, shit, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, shit, Black Clover, yes. And with that, man, yes, it's great now, you know, that eyes are being put on it now, you know, and the focus is on them, you know, and wait, and there, as everybody has been waiting for them to hurry up and animate this, you know, the the finals of this, if you will, the final season. So I can't wait for that. But yeah. So hopefully my voice comes clear. You know, with me just talking through my main mic. But yeah. So yeah, and I got like a cool comedy, little short comedy video that will play before the movie starts. So, you know, my way of giving people time to come in. So, but how do you like that, y'all? Right? You didn't have to worry about me going through fighting some ads while live. So, yeah, we didn't have to deal with no ads live. The only ads you have to deal with is what's considered default according to the Rumble system. So, with the ads that they give, you don't have to worry about double or triple ads. So yeah, that's awesome because I can't stand that shit. You know, I'm like, damn, man, y'all make me want to get an ad blocker or something. But nah. So yeah, thank you guys though for joining me on this for this little bit. So um, I just want to chop it up with y'all for a minute before we go live tonight. Trouble Man 2025, produced and created by Michael Jai White and written by Michael Jai White. So yeah, shout out to him, and then shout out to his wife, Miss Gillian White, and yeah, so I'll holler at you guys later. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. Um, Follow the Rumble channel. The Rumble link should be there in the description. And if you feel willing to bless the Hanma Force, hey, hit the Cash App if you're willing. So, but all right, I'm out, y'all. Peace and blessings. I'm not your fan. I'm not your stand, for I am brother.